Comes home to an empty $70,000, 70K square foot home with no kids, no wife, and no babies. Regrets his past. Let's get to it.
Sometimes you have to fail very hard, and I failed a lot. My worst failure is coming in my 70,000 square foot house, no kids, no wife, no nothing. I kept most of the rooms dark. On my really sad days, I go look at the babies' rooms. And then I go in the gym and shoot 1 or 2 baskets, and I'm not a basketball player anymore. And I go in the garage and look at all the cars that I'm not driving.
Wow.
Then I go back to the kitchen and watch my movies. When you sit back and look, you realize you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that. And I'm programmed, being raised by an Army drill sergeant, never to make the same mistake twice. So I always try to learn from my mistakes.
All right, that's Shaq explaining that one of his worst feelings that he's ever had in life was coming home and his whole entire family is gone because he's made a mistake of just messing with girls. He's made a mistake running around. Shaq has a lot of kids by the same woman. He has 5 kids by the same woman. So you have to understand there comes a point where you do have men in society that have built families but still destroy families by trying to have multiple women out there. I kind of feel like if you don't have a kid with a woman, you can still have another girl on the side till you determine what you want to do. But the moment you start building a family with a woman, you have to pretty much lock in to be committed to that. And he's an example of what happens with a lot of guys that get money. They get money and they get a whole new fame of women that come into their life. And then it's hard for a man to settle down. I always feel if you know you do not have the power to be in a relationship and be faithful, you should not get in the relationship. Especially after 5 kids, a woman's going to going to leave you. Those are facts. Next video. This is another reason. This is called fatherless activities. Chick gets her stud's name and face tattooed all over her body 20 times, even though she gets cheated on. Let's get to it.
Y'all, all the ladies, take notes. Never be my BM. She got my name tatted literally over 20 times, pictures, everything. And she's getting a young girl right now. Never be her. I mean, I cheat on her on a daily, do what I want, do what I do. And yet she continues. BM, you know that you getting my name tatted all over you every single time doesn't stop me from doing what I want, right? Yes or no? Just yes or no, just answer.
Yes, you said not to me.
Oh, yes or no?
Yes, Daddy.
So why do you know I'm going to cheat on you regardless, right? You don't care? Because what, at the end of the day, as long as daddy what?
Is with me.
That's all that matters, you know what I'm saying?
And
but
I'm
ladies,
your
do not be my BM, you know what I'm saying?
wife.
Do not be my BM.
The worst thing in the world sometimes is a woman who does not have a father in her life to guide her. The same thing that makes her cry is typically the same thing that makes her stay. And we talk about this a lot, that when you do come across women who do not have a father in their life or don't have a role model in their life, it's just something about them that's going to cause them to do stupid stuff. They're going to be the women that's going to drag you through the mud. Then when they get to people that's going to disrespect them, they're going to show those people more loyalty than the people that care about them. That's why when I come across women who hasn't been guided by a father, who don't have a father, that's just side chick material. Ain't nobody fucking with that. She ain't got no dad in her life. She's going to be extremely moody all the fucking time. She's going to be unpredictable. And then when she gets around people that disrespect her and treat her like shit, she's going to give them the most loyalty. And then people that treat her good, she's going to treat them like shit because she has a disconnection from the father. She doesn't know what the love is. Women are going to naturally be in competitions with their moms. So they're not going to want to be guided by their mom because by the time they start going through the teenage years, they're going to feel like their mother cannot teach them anything. And then that's where they need to rely on the strength of a man. Society has told women, you don't need a man in your life, not even a father to raise you. But when they grow up and they grow up wild, they turn out to be women like this. You don't have a lot of women who grew up without a father that's walking around happy. You have more women that grew up without a father that's growing up not even having an identity to themselves. And they fall into these relationships with people that are treating them bad. Her lover is telling her, I done cheated on you. You're still with me. You have my name tattooed on you over 20 times. And you also have to realize that Christian Rock did the same thing with Blueface. but she has a father in her life that was a loser. A weak man does no good to women. No good at all. You're no good for him. Not even if you have a daughter. A weak man having a daughter is worse than a woman that doesn't have a father in her life, because if he simps too hard, she'll only know how to be with a simp guy. Let's get back to it.
Like I'm telling you, she literally gets tattooed me like it's a hobby or something. Like,
No, baby, it's called love.
it's called what?
Love.
You know I would never ever get your name tatted though, right?
Yeah, Daddy.
But it's alright.
Look at that. She even has the stud name tattooed on the side of her face. Okay, this is mental illness. Remember, I tell you guys, women live in themes. They live in themes, which means they go through these segments of their life where they're just running free. Why? Because there's so many people around them just going along with it. They don't realize they're destroying themselves. Prime example is going to be Black China. Everybody is watching Black China trying to transition back into a good woman, but she's not going to be able to do that. Why? Because it only takes 5 minutes to ruin your reputation. Will she get clicks and views? Yes, she's going to get clicks and views for changing her life. Will she be on a more positive road? Yes, she will be on a more positive road, but she would never end up like those suburban moms that she live around. She's not going to be able to do that. It doesn't matter what Black China does. She still has a name that's going to tarnish her, just like Karen Stevens, just like Brittany Renner, just like all the others, Mia Khalifa, just like all the other girls. They just did a video with Riley Reid. Riley Reid says, my entire family doesn't talk to me anymore, and it's so sad that they cut me off. No one gives a fuck about a bum bitch. No one gives a fuck about a slut. Nobody. When you show that you're at the bottom of the mud in life, people are going to treat you like you're the bottom of the mud. It's the same thing with a weak man. You're not wanted in life. When people see that you're weak and you're not able to stand up for yourself, you're at the bottom of the mud. The only thing they're going to do is treat you worse. But if you're living in a theme and you got people to pander to you, then you're not going to see it until they stop pandering you. That's what happens with a lot of women. They get pandered by men that want to sleep with them while they're younger. And then as they get older and the looks start to die out, they have to turn around and face reality of who they are. And that's where it hurts. That's what happened with Black China. The moment the media stopped pandering to her, whack-ass niggas stopped pandering to her, and the world started looking at her like, oh, do something stupid again. We want to see you do stupid shit. Oh, come over to the strip club and host a strip club, Black China. Black China stopped and looked like, these people look at me like I'm just a fucking theme. Like I'm just a skit. Like I'm just a character. And she starts to wake up and she starts to say, I don't want to be treated like this character again. I don't want to be treated like this. That's what most women are going through now, because most men are feminine. They're not going to tell women the truth. And when the men that are telling women the truth, women can disguise it by putting herself around other guys that's going to go along with her theme. That's going to go along with her delusion. That's where that's where Generation Z women are wrong. You're going wrong because men are desensitized to you, but you still rely on the simps to let you run free. I see girls right now pretending to be like they're getting in marriages, pretend to be like they're happy, and the guy just doesn't see that he's being used for a theme. And when she gets done with that theme, she's going to toss that dude to the side, and he's going to be wondering what happened in the relationship. Let's get back to it.
But it's alright. Look at you. You look good.
Let's go back to this so everyone sees what's happening here. A fatherless woman is probably the biggest red flag to a man. And the reason why a lot of guys fall in love with these women is because these women are running wild. They're free. They got a lot of energy. They get the moods going. They keep you up. They keep you down. They swing you from happiness to a sad place, a happiness to a sad place. And then in the bedroom, they suck your dick good. They do everything right, right? But they really doing it hoping that you disrespect them, hoping that they can chase after you. Why? Because when it comes to a man, a fatherless woman only knows a disconnect with a man, which means she only falls for the guy that doesn't want her. When it comes to the guy that she may be like, oh, I'm going to marry this guy, or I'm going to be in a relationship with that guy, she's going to damage the guy that loves her. And the reason why she's going to damage the guy that loves her is because she still hasn't been taught how to accept love from a man. So all the love that she has is just part of the theme. And then at some point, she's going to ruin the relationship. She's going to create an argument. There's going to be a disagreement. And then she's going to get rid of the man. You have to watch out, because the mental illness amongst these young girls, this is where it's at. They're getting tattoos to hide the pain. She got her lover tattooed on her 20 times. Now, what's going to happen when that girl tries to really leave her? That's when she, the girl right here, is probably going to kill her lover because of everything that she's doing to try to prove to her. She don't care if she go cheat as long as she comes back. But the moment that girl cut her off completely, you're going to see a whole bunch of fuck shit happen. All right, let's get to the next video. All right, we got a guy here. He says, is he wrong for wanting a divorce after his wife took his entire life savings? Let's get to it.
Get away with a great deal at the
Am I the a-hole for taking 75% of my wife's paycheck? I know what you might be thinking. Why are you taking your wife's money? It's a long story. Let me get into it. When I was 16 years old, I started saving my money. I still do that till this day, because if something ends up happening, I will have the money to fix it immediately. 6 years ago, I met my wife in college. We started talking and everything was going good, and we broke it off into a great relationship. Around 2 years ago, she found out about my savings account, and that's when things kind of got weird. She tells me that she wants to start saving as well, and I'm like, cool, let's do it. She was going to school to get a degree that was going to pay her a good amount of money, and I was like, all right, bet. If you want to save some stuff while going to school, do that. As the months went on, she kept putting into the savings account, and I was putting into the savings account. Until last year, when she graduated. She graduated from college, and when I checked the savings account, I was appalled because I had $2,500 inside of the savings account. It was gone. Completely gone. And I'm sitting there like, hold on, what's going on? Because when my wife started to put in, there was $223,000. So that means when we started putting in together, it got up to $250,000. But when it got to that, she takes out all of the money and pays off her student loans. I was absolutely dumbfounded.
Let me tell you guys the secret to women seeking men with money. When you're a beta male and you think the value of a woman is what she's driving, how much education she has, you're going to get played. Why? Because women put themselves in debt to prove a point. They'll put themselves in debt with a BMW, with a Benz. They'll put themselves in debt with college bills. They'll put themselves in debt with credit cards. And now they say, I need a man that's worth this amount of money. I need a man that's worth that. The underglowing of that's the Trojan horse. Because if she gets the man like that, all she's going to do is try to trick that man into paying off all her bills. But if you're the guy that sees all the things she's doing top layer as value, you're going to think she's valuable. And you have a lot of men that do this. She's smart, educated, drive a good car. Hey, man, she got her own. Yeah, and I make more than her, so she really don't need my money. Right, until you get married. See, when you get married, your money will become her money. That's what she thinks it is. But you've just taken on a whole bunch of debt as well. What is that woman trying to do? She's trying to get you to pay her debt off so she can be free. There are so many guys, once the debt is paid off, okay, the woman is going to leave him because now she has all the confidence. The reason why she got married is because her back was against the fucking wall and she was living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to support a lifestyle. Now she gets with a man who not only can pay for a lifestyle, but can also pay for her as well. That's the ultimate goal of what independent women are doing. They're trying to make $100,000 a year to attract a man to make $300,000 a year here so she could fall back and feed off of him. Most guys that are successful but are still simps and still desperate, they end up in these situations. Those are facts.
Was flabbergasted. I was appalled at the situation because I couldn't believe that she would take out all the money without asking me and pay off her student loans. And then she says to me with a straight face, it's our money.
Our money? First of all, the first thing that I would have did, let me go back to this brother. The first thing that I would have did getting in a relationship is I would have took that money and put it in a separate account. There's nowhere in hell I'm going to stack my money up and then share the account with a woman. That's where he made his biggest mistake at. But a lot of guys would do this to show the woman like, hey, we have enough leverage here. You should be comfortable. But what she's thinking is you can make that money all over again because you've made it before. So we're going to give him a for not having a separate bank account.
It's our money. What's our money? Out of the 250,000, you might have put in 10. You might have put in 10. I've been saving my money since I was 16 years old. So what I decided to do was divorce her. And then I was like, no. I was going to sue her. And then I was like, no. And then I thought to myself, she gonna pay me back. That's my wife, right? We in this together. You got a good job. Let me get 75% of your paycheck. She immediately said, no. I was like, okay, then we're over. And I'm suing you for everything. And she was like, whoa, you can't do that. I'm your wife. And I was like, the money that I had in there was money that I made before we got married. Was money that I had before we got married. That money was not asked for. That money was not said anything about. You knew I was saving it for a rainy day, a house fund, something, a college fund for our kids, something. If something happened, what are we gonna do? And she looked at me with a straight face and said, I don't know. What you mean you don't know? I had the money of which we don't know. So for the last year and a half, I've been garnishing 75% of my wife's paycheck, and her in-laws recently found out I was doing it. They're saying that I'm the a-hole in the situation because the money was for the marriage, and it wasn't for the marriage. It was for a rainy day. It was for a horrible situation. So am I?
First of all, we got to give them another. And the reason why they're going to say the money is for the marriage, why? Because when you get married, her debt becomes your debt. That's why a lot of guys that make it, they would rather go be with a broke chick. They'd rather go be with a regular woman who's not trying to be Miss Independent. It's because that woman right there is going to be more graceful, and she's going to be the woman that's going to work out the best because she doesn't have any underlying attentions. And men need to understand that. Go get you a broke woman and stop getting a woman that's in debt trying to impress you to increase her value, because that's what most girls or women are going to do. They get out here and say, look, I'm valuable because I'm educated. I'm valuable because I'm driving a nice car. When you met me, I was independent. I had a job. When you met me, I had already graduated from school. So you have to pay for me being in a relationship, having kids, because if I didn't stop and do all this for you, then I would be at this point in my life. That's what they're trying to do. That's ultimately what they're going to throw in the face. But guys who go through the mud and become successful, we already know we're going to hide our money. There will be a prenup. There will be some stipulations here. You would not be in the bank account that I've been building my whole life. That's what he messed up at. We ain't doing that.
The a-hole for taking 75% of my wife's money?
He's not an a-hole for taking 75% of his wife's
money.
money.
Am I the a-hole for taking 75% of my wife's pay?
He's not the a-hole. He's the beta that got caught up in the situation, because how long will it be